Well, we made it. It's day 30 of 30 days of Photoshop with me, Kevin Aronson from Hampshire School of Photography, and we've done the whole lot. So I'll kick off in a second, but just before we start, I just want to say a thank you to everybody who's been giving me such great feedback on the 30 days. There's obviously people out there who've been absolutely chomping at the bit to get some basic knowledge on Photoshop to help them progress. Photoshop isn't the easiest product in the world. It's not intuitive. There are no easy sliders. You've got to understand quite a lot of stuff in the background to take yourself forward and get the best out of it. So the 30 days of Photoshop has undoubtedly, from my perspective, been an unqualified success. So it's laid down some foundations. It's kind of shown you what it's capable of and where it does it and what the buttons are like and so on and so forth. But it won't necessarily show you all you need to know to get the best from your photos. So I'm going to make a suggestion that you check out on the website, Becoming a Photoshop Ninja. It's a course I run a couple of times a year. The next one starts in September 2021 and I'll be running them every year. But I've got one place left, literally one place left in September. It's only a small group of 6 people with me around a table with your computers, and we go into some really deep stuff to help you draw the very best out of your images. Becoming a Photoshop Ninja. It's taking what you've learnt over the 30 days and then practically using that stuff with your images to take them to a much higher standard. Anyway, thank you again, everyone who's taken part. Thank you for the extraordinary feedback. Today we're looking at how you save your images, how you export them from Photoshop, which is the natural end, the natural last session. So here we go. Day 30 of 30 days of Photoshop. I'll be honest, I tend to export the majority of my images out of Lightroom. And that's because I like the workflow of beginning my edit in Lightroom, transferring it over to Photoshop for the fine detailed work, and then sending it back to Lightroom afterwards to help it stay within the catalogue. So if you then export from Lightroom, you're using the Lightroom export dialog box, and it's more flexible and more sophisticated. But there will always be occasions when you want to export directly from Photoshop. So let's have a look at the options. From the file menu, we drop down, we have the option to save, and that literally saves the working copy you're on as a working copy. So if it's got layers in it, as this one does, it will save it with layers, usually as a TIFF file. Save as, and you can then specify what sort of file you want to save it as. And again, that depends on whether this is a working copy with lots of layers in it or whether it's a single layer. So if I try and save this as a save as, what's the options it's given me? TIFF, Photoshop, large document format, even as a PDF, because these formats can handle the 4 layers that we've got here. If I were to merge these into a single layer, and now we try save as, the range of options should be more extensive, and they are much wider. Okay, I'm just going to reset that to wherever it was. That'll do. There, that one. That's it. Okay, and then you've got save a copy, and this enables you to save a copy, not a working copy, but a copy with an even wider range of options. Okay, let's go to export. The first thing you should see with export, there are 3 options you ought to be looking at: export preferences, quick export as a JPEG, and export as. Export preferences you should visit first and set up for your own personal preferences. And on here you can choose what your default format is. For me it's JPEG, and I like my quality to be at 100%. In terms of where it goes, I option to be asked each time rather than exporting my files in a folder next to the current document. I'm not interested in that. I do want copyright and contact information to be hidden inside the metadata, and it's important to convert to sRGB to ensure I export in a format that just about everybody recognizes, including Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and so on, and is able to reproduce the colors faithfully. So once that's set up, then we can look at quick export as a JPEG. Now, I've set up my own shortcut keys here because I don't want to have to go through the menu system. And to set up the shortcut keys, I think it's in this menu here, keyboard shortcuts. So it's on the edit menu, Photoshop, and then I think I went to File, and I scrolled down until I got to Export. There we go. And quick export as a JPEG, and that's my shortcut key. That's my shortcut key there. So I can be working on this image, and I can press those 3 keys, which I will do right now. There we go. It brings it up straight away, and I can send it straight into the folder I'm saving it to. Good. So that's quick export as a JPEG. Sometimes that's helpful if you're working on something. You think, oh, I want to post this for someone to see straight away. That's a nice quick option. Otherwise, the best option has to be export as. And there are 4 keys to hold down here. And if you memorize those, let's see if I can do that without. So on a Mac, it's Shift, Option, Command. I forgot it. Oh, it's come up anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And I call myself a professional. Yes, of course, I intended for this to happen. Just to keep you on your toes, guys. Okay, jolly good. Now, one of the big advantages about the export dialog box is you get a preview. And you can zoom in on your subject and check the image quality if you want to and move it around, which is quite good because you can change the image quality. At the moment, this is a big file, 6,000 wide by 3,375 pixels deep, and it's 1,000 kilobytes, so it's just over a meg in size. And that's because the image quality, I've chosen it to be a JPEG, the image quality is good. If I chose it to be great, which is the highest quality image, then this 1,000 kilobytes would look, it's changed to 10 megabytes. So it's basically going from where I was, which I think was good, to great. The image file size is 10 times larger. Good grief, that's extraordinary. What happens if we go to very poor? Let's go very poor. 305 kilobytes, and if we can actually see now that it is affecting the image quality because we've got banding going on in the sky. Let's see. I'm just curious. Let's see if I do fair, does the banding disappear? I can still see it. What about good? That's just about visible if you really try hard. So I suggest probably very good, excellent, or great. And that way you're going to get some images with good image quality and a relatively small file size. That's 1.9 megabytes, still quite big. This is clever. Here you can export multiple copies of the images at different sizes. So I could, by clicking on there, for instance, in addition to exporting one at 1 times normal size, which is normal size, I can also export one at half normal size. Click another, and look, I just click on this drop down menu so you can see what the options are. So 1 times normal size up to 3 times normal size, and then all the way down to 0.1 times normal size. And when you do this and you press the export button down here on the right, it will export 3 copies of the images at once, and all be at those sizes. We'll look in a second. So JPEG, you have an option for PNG or GIF file. You can punch in your own sizes there. This is important to make sure this is ticked. As I mentioned earlier on, it's important to make sure that the images has a sRGB color space. Okay, now if I click export, it's going to make 3 copies, and it's going to go into, let's create a new folder. I'm going to call it test 3 because I've been running some other tests in this group. And now it will start making copies and sending those 3 images into that folder, test 3. There we go. And you can see the first one was 0.5 normal size, so it's half normal size. This one was 0.75 of normal size, and this one was normal size. And you can see the sizes beneath them: 6,000 pixels wide, 4,500 and 3,000 pixels wide. So yes, nice little tool. I hope that's been helpful to you, and that's all from me today. And that brings us to an end of this 30 days of Photoshop series. It's been an absolute hoot. I've benefited from it, and I know you guys have. If you haven't seen all 30 days and you want to check them all out, and they're all available free of charge, then check out the website phototeacher.blog. All 30 days are on there. If you want to book on one of our workshops, especially becoming a Photoshop ninja, there's one place left for September, as I said. Then you need to go to the website gohsp.com, and there you'll see the course and you can book on it. Now, if you miss it, drop me a message, and as soon as we run the course again, which we will next year, then we'll make sure you get informed about that. So these courses are run at our training centre in Fleet in North Hampshire, and there we don't just teach on Photoshop but also Lightroom. There's a Lightroom workshop coming up called Lightroom Mastery, and then there's a whole load of photography courses, from single day introduction to photography workshops right through to 1-year courses with a very advanced level. So the courses attract people at different stages on their photographic journey, from complete beginners right through to those who want to go professional, and of course everybody in between, amateurs, advanced amateurs, the whole lot. Check it out. Keep watching phototeacher.blog, because there will be more videos, more tuitions, more tutorials, more teaching sessions, more information on a regular basis, and I hope I get to meet each and every one of you at some point in the future. From me, Kevin Aronson, terminating, that sounds good, bringing to an end the 30 days of Photoshop. It's been great. Cheers.